Alright, Lancer, so today is a very special day, at least for me over on Bleach Brace Souls, because we officially hit 9 years on one account. 3,285 days I've been playing this game, and I can't believe we're still here. And here's to many, many more. But it is still absolutely crazy to think that I've been playing one game for 9 years straight. BBS has been part of my daily life now at this point. And this time next year, we're going to be saying it's been here for a decade. But like always, whenever we do an account update, basically like every 6 or so months, we just recap when I first started Brave Souls, my opinion on certain characters over the years, and also just highlighting what an account looks like maybe 9 years into the game for someone that maybe plays this game a tad bit too much. But what you're first going to notice, at least when compared to last year's account showcase, is how big our battle power has jumped up quite a lot over the last year due to the many systems that Caleb have introduced. You know, this time last year, we had around 3.2 million battle power, and now we're on 5.7 million, almost reaching that 6 million milestone. And I'm very curious to see what our battle power is going to look like next year, because this will be ever increasing, especially due to the fact that we now have a lot more stats thanks to the new attribute tree system, and at least when compared to last year, we also did recently get the affiliation bonuses. So right now, my current battle power is at 5.7 million. 4 million is coming from stats. I have link sorted every character in my box to tier 20, which gives us an additional 1.3 million battle power. So for those that are still working to up their battle power, besides just owning new characters, link slot level is one of the best ways to increase that. Transcendent is at 200,000, and then resurrection bonuses, because I do own every resurrectable character, we are getting 192,000. If we continue to scroll down, of course, we do now have access to the achievement system, where I do own 15 of the platinum medals. I believe right now there's like 5-ish more I can obtain, and I think most of those come from owning characters that max Transcendent, maybe getting a certain character's Transcendent stat to level 10 a few hundred times. Actually, in fact, before this video, I did go ahead and just unlock a new challenge where I had to max transcend 100 characters. So I was originally on 88, I just did 12 new characters, and thanks to the fact that we're getting quite a lot of essence scrolls, I've been able to work on a lot of characters more often than not. And right now I'm kind of in a conundrum, because I do want to max transcend characters. I do like having the purple stat for some of my favorite units, but I also do want to at least bare minimum, because this was kind of a joke. After we max link sorted all my characters, it was to at least get every character to level 10 SP or level 10 attack, and I kind of want to do that, but I did do the maths. I need like 200 more essence scrolls, which, to be fair, might not even take that long, but it is something I need to work on. So for me to get more of those platinum medals, I think I kind of have to do it around here. Max transcend characters or unlock more 5/5 characters. But scrolling down, and this unfortunately has been a thing since we've been doing account showcases over the last couple of so years, is that it still to this day triggers me that my character completion and max level characters is not the same number, because 8 or 9 years ago, I guess at this point, 8 years ago, there was 3 4-star characters that I ended up selling without maxing their level. This would have been when the game was newish and I was still somewhat casual, and to this day, even though we have the sub-stories which do return old 4-stars and events, they've yet to return the 3 characters that I have been missing, which is really unfortunate. But having a look at my top 5. So my top 5 links originally years ago were my top 5 characters. You know, when Squad Zero was first added to the game, it was a massive deal. I'm a big fan of Squad Zero characters, so I wanted to highlight that by having them as my top 5 most played characters. But at that point, since I wasn't always using them, it was quite tedious to try and manage that and keep them into my top 5. So I eventually changed it to top 5 links, stopped at 50,000. We'll eventually increase this maybe to 100,000 in the future, but I kind of need to pull duplicates of them at this point. I still have a copy of Oetsu and also Ichibei, but not a copy of Senjimaru, Kiryu, and also Tenjiro. And I mention this every year, still to this day, it does trigger me that we did not get a power Squad Zero character, because it was almost perfect. They were all almost in different attributes. It just so happened that Tenjiro and also Ichibei had to be the same attribute. And funny enough, even though we did get remakes of all of these Squad Zero characters, and we now officially do have a power Squad Zero captain, that being Bankai Senjimaru, in terms of the new anime remakes, they yet again did the same thing, where Tenjiro and Ichibei share the same attribute. Both of those characters are technique characters. So I guess right now, in terms of the new anime characters, we're missing a Mind Squad Zero character, and had Tenjiro been that, maybe I would have wanted to update my top 5 links to include those anime characters. In terms of my top 5 most used characters though, one thing you are going to notice that You know, it might look like I'm a massive Yachiru fan, which to be fair I am. I like Retsu, but I definitely prefer Yachiru, the sadistic side of the character. And funny enough, both of those characters are my top 5. The main reason for that though is because they were the faster auto characters that I personally like to use, especially because I did have them max transcended. Safui Retsu in particular was a character that got very high up there very quick, because that's when I started to mass farm the point event. Like, I'm talking like 500 million plus almost every month. And I believe I stopped using it around 88,000 runs, and then recently I did get that up to 100,000 just to have a decent number, because I don't ever plan to use it in single player content again. Yachiru, for the most part, since I released, was my go-to character. That's why she's on 44,000. But truthfully, in terms of point event farming, I haven't used any of these characters. And right now, my new goal is to try and get all the base form Bambis into my top 5 most used characters. So my current team, just to quickly demonstrate that, is basically these 3 characters, and I've been using this team for like the last 3 or so months since Giselle was first introduced. It's going to be a while before I can get in my top 5, especially try and pass Safui Retsu, which has 100,000 uses. But right now, looking at the attributes, Giselle's technique, Candice's mind, if we're using Zombie Bambietta, she's a speed character, and then Meninia, who I do own, is a hard character. So I'm really hoping whenever we do get a new base form Little Toe, that she can be a power character, because that would look really cool in the top 5, having a base form Bambis and all have them being different attributes. The thing is though, will I remain consistent trying to get them in the top 5? I'm not entirely too sure, because we are going to get their Vol standing forms later eventually. All 5 of them again. And I might want to do that with them, but that's going to take a very long time. So this is something I'm going to be working towards for quite some time. With that, these story mode, obviously I've done all of them besides the second hard part of part 20. So I need to do that. Couple hundred orbs there. Obviously, I have completed all of the original chapters, the novels, and also movies. Still funny to this day that we never got the Hell Arc in a story mode. Instead, it was an event. I think the licensing for the Hell Arc characters was just a bit iffy, that they couldn't get the story in-game. It was only a time-limited thing. In Brave Battles, currently I'm in 5th seat. I'm still working on that. Slacked off for the last couple of so weeks. As far as Limit Breaker is concerned, right now my max result is 35, which I believe was this time last year. So for the most part, I've been fairly consistent. Always getting the rainbow badge, and I try to get to 25 if I possibly can, but as of late, I think it was April last year, they did make the quest a lot more difficult in terms of how much HP the enemies do have. So before, even if you didn't have like the greatest team, you could probably get into 25, but if you did own the team, the new character they wanted to use, like for example Yachiru, then Kyogre, then Nini, you were likely going to get into the 30s, and that's what we were doing consistently when I at least poured the new characters. And this Limit Breaker quest in particular with Kyogre, Ichigo, and also Yuha was obviously a very good one, because these 3 characters were some of the best characters at the time of their release. And due to the fact that we were using Kyogre and Yuha has it built in, every character was getting their strong attacks ready in between stages. They also made the first, I believe, 20 stages in this quest easier than usual, and then past 20, they got a tad bit more difficult. But I know people got into like 40s. I was only able to get to 35, and it might be some time before I ever do break that. Because have I been closer ever since, you know, the April update, which is what you see here. I got 24, 22 in this one. We've gotten a few 30s. But given that this was during the anniversary month, using some of the best characters, that might be the highest I see for quite some time, especially this one in particular. I mean, when we're using Byakuya and Max Transcendent Gremmy and also Ichigo, some of the best characters in the game, and we were only ever able to get into 31. But for the most part, I try to at least get into 25 if I possibly can. But bare minimum, I try to get the rainbow badge. With my account too, that is fairly consistent. When it comes to guild quests, I've currently been in my guild Dishonor for 600 days. The guild's been around longer, but I did leave for a brief period. And in terms of top weekly scores, I'm in the top 1,000. And while on the topic of guild quests, with the new addition of the personal records, we can actually have a look at all my scores. Now, for those who are unaware how the scoring does work, what you want to look at here is the 4 and the 0. And this basically tells you the time that you have left remaining. So for mini story per guild quest, for example, I basically had 40 seconds remaining. For ranged story per guild quest, since I do own a Max Transcendent Giselle, I had 50 seconds remaining. So for the looks of it, my worst guild quest thus far from this page in particular, we've yet to try some of these other guild quests since this new update. I have a 37-second run on Range Captain, and maybe that's kind of understandable. Range Captain isn't the fastest guild quest. They only have access to 6 Aizen, Technique Bambietta, and also Candice, who does like Berserker. So that guild quest in particular isn't the greatest. That's why it's the lowest. But I try to at least get 45 seconds plus, and I've been fairly consistent in that. You know, you're seeing a couple 40s, 45s, 50s even sometimes for the what was this? The Melee Quincy. That, I believe, is thanks to Ichigo, of course. Melee Sturmritter, not really the greatest for me, only 37 seconds. Range Espada, understandably so. They haven't had a new normal attack damage character in quite some time. And Masaki isn't quite the greatest lead, so my best score is like 35 seconds. I believe this upcoming end of month, so in 2 weeks' time, we are getting a new Range Espada killer, or it's the month after. I think it is this upcoming end of month. If we do get a new Range Espada killer and they are good, I'm definitely going to be summoning, especially if it is a character I do like, because I'm very quick to actually replace someone like Masaki. And then for range, no affiliation, 38. So those are my Guild Quest scores. We still haven't officially finished every single record here, but in terms of consistent Guild Quest scores, my total high score, I am ranked 410. Definitely still room for improvement. I haven't quite gotten the best scores that my account possibly can get, but this is something that I'm obviously actively working towards. Continue down when it comes to Senkaimon. So obviously we are going to get a Senkaimon update, I believe, in April to July. So next time we do an account showcase, it might look a tad bit different. I'm very curious to see what the updates are going to be, but obviously we've beaten all the towers, and what my goal was during a certain time, which eventually I might go back and do, but this does require a lot of time, is speedrun the towers. And the reason why it takes so long is because you have to like reset the app, reset stages to try and get the fastest score possible. And we're talking sometimes 5-10 seconds per stage. And when you're doing that 50 times or 25 times, it usually results in like a 4-hour live stream. But what you're going to see here is that most of the towers are done under 10 minutes. I don't think there's a single tower over 10 minutes. At least when I started and was able to actually speedrun all the towers. Obviously, I can't go back and speedrun the 4th anniversary or 3rd anniversary, even 5th anniversary tower. My account wasn't really that great back then. And obviously, character levels were also different. So my old goal back in the day was to get it under 20 minutes. And for the most part, I was able to briefly do that. And even when it came to Gates of Oblivion, which is now finished, it has 150 stages. We did eventually go back and speedrun that. And we were at the least able to get it under 20. Weirdly enough, and I don't kind of like the idea of this, but obviously the 9th anniversary tower did work a tad bit different. It had 4 different tiers. And with that, they had their own times. I think in an ideal world, if they do return next year, or I guess this year in like 6 months, I want to try and get all of them to 45 seconds or get them to the same time just to look nice on the profile. I think the hardest part about that is tier 2 because those stages were actually very awkward. But I was able to get all of them under a minute, so that's actually pretty cool. When it comes to epic grades, I've done 44,000. Not too bad, not too bad. When it comes to familiars, again, similar to max level characters, there was one character I missed out on. It was the Soul Reaper Con. This was, I believe, during the 6th anniversary. Again, it was the 6th anniversary. I was very hyped for that anniversary. I was playing the game every day. I just, for some reason, forgot to do the con. Epic raid. I did it. I got the con, but I never maxed him out. So, to this day, especially because he is an anniversary character familiar, I guess, they've yet to return certain familiars, all the cons. At this point, I kind of wish they do. I know it is like a collector's item, but when you have like stuff like this where it does tell you your completion rate, it does kind of suck that you can't complete it if you wanted to, if you started the game late. Like the accessories that they don't return is kind of understandable. They are just collectible items that don't have like a checklist. But yeah, in general, I'm just kind of upset that I don't have the con maxed out because this number 28 out of 29 does kind of upset me. In terms of top 5 familiars equipped, this isn't really going to change much because I don't grind epic raids that much anymore since I've maxed out all my characters. I just do it for the monthly exchange shop, but at the same time, I only strictly use Toshiro. So Toshiro eventually will get to number 1. His familiar in particular does offer 20% strong attack damage, so I just use 3 Toshiros. When it comes to top 5 companions, the ones that I use walking around, I mean, I assume the Grand Fisher was there because he was one of the first ones, but I'm a big fan of the Yuha pet. If we get any more 1,000 Blooded ones, I might get them into my top 5. But even mostly, I don't even use familiars all that much. I feel like they just kind of block my characters when I'm showcasing, and I always forget to equip them, but I do like the Yuha. The Yuha's my favorite one, and I was very happy that he was added to the game. When it comes to Chronicle Quest, I mean, at this point in time, Chronicle Quest is getting removed in 5 days' time, so this will not be here next time we update our character profile. You can see here, I'm actually a day late, apparently, but 3,285 days is 9 years in total. My max damage, which I did get called out for being a modder for this, it was actually lesser. It was a different time. But we do have 176 million, which I'm actually very happy about. We made a video about it on the channel using 9th anniversary Kenpachi's EX skill. At this point in time, I think it's almost impossible to get a number like this unless you have a level 1 Esno. Because they did change the quest that gave these really high damage bonuses where this was potentially achievable. And I'm not quite sure when we will be able to get a new character or a new quest that will let us do it similar, if not higher damage numbers than this. When it comes to Arena, I've done 2,324 wins. I've ranked 10, 15 characters. Don't play Arena all that much until they update it. But that's essentially my complete character profile broken down. And if it wasn't clear, I do have a team theme going on here. I like Giselle. So Giselle is going to be my most used character, or at least the display character. And then with Giselle, I have her 2 zombies. Next up, however, let's showcase my characters and also accessories. So to no one's surprise, albeit it did take quite some time to get to this point. Let me just sort by one attribute because they all basically look the same. I do own every 5-star accessory, or the exclusive gacha ones, so the golden chappies, the golden puppos, the yukis. All the tea sets. It took me a very long time to complete that set. I believe for the longest of time, I was lacking a speed teacup and tea set. And I got that, I believe, around the 8th anniversary. So it was only like a year ago, I guess, at this point, when I did actually complete the set. Now, one thing that I did do on my account, this took a very long time to set up, but I essentially sold every accessory that I know I do not need. Because I got to a point, if you look at the bottom right, I had way too many accessories, and I kept getting full. So essentially what I went ahead and did was keep 3 accessories of each type of something that I know I'm going to need, with the exception of stickers and also masangas, where I'm going to need 3 types. And every accessory that you do see at least max level, because I've not cleaned out a few of them, do have access to 30 SP or 30 attack. So in the case of wooden swords, since they are only used on normal attack damage characters, I have 3 of them and they have 30 attack. For Zeta Pills, albeit I don't actually need this much accessories, I will be honest. But since Zeta Pills can be used by normal attack damage characters and strong attack damage characters, I have 3 with spiritual pressure 30 and then 3 with attack. Now, the main reason why I did this unironically was that I was like, you know, maybe one day Caleb is going to add like a box power system. And with that, maybe I want to build accessories to put on every character to get the most amount of stats. It was definitely wishful thinking. And funny enough, they actually did do that. They introduced the battle power system. But luckily, they don't actually force us to equip accessories on every character, because that would be very tedious. Very, very tedious. But what we can have a look at is all our exclusive accessories that you can only collect when you are playing during a certain occasion. And since I have been playing during all of these events, I have all of the anniversary coins. Again, still very triggering that the first anniversary is not located with the other coins. And the main reason is the naming. This is called second anniversary commemorative coin. And I believe this one is called Brave Souls, or just commemorative. They don't have the first. But I believe I did mention this last time. So what you can look at here is that the first anniversary, they specifically mention the Japanese release of Brave Souls. And I believe it's the same for the second anniversary, Japanese release. The third anniversary still highlights the Japanese, even though at this point we were officially synced up. Fourth anniversary still says Japanese release, but I believe 5th anniversary onwards, they now have just different messages, and they no longer mention the Japanese release. It's just the anniversary of Brave Souls. We're officially synced up, and then this is our most recent one, the 9th anniversary. Next year, this upcoming year actually, we are going to get 10th anniversary. I obviously have all the New Year's ones. These are basically the Globals ones, if you want to look at it like that. Globals anniversary. We have the anniversary cards for the 20th anniversary. We have the movie one too. That's one of the more rarer ones, I'd say. And then now we also do have access to the new anime season. So this was the 3rd season, this was the 2nd season, and then this was the 3rd season. And this one's actually pretty good, and they have actually rerun a few of these a few times during the anime's release. So if you did miss out on these anime exclusive ones, your next and last chance to get it will be during maybe next year, I guess, 2026, when the final season of the anime does officially air. Going into characters, however. Now, one of the things I'm actually glad that I actually went ahead and done was my only favorite characters in this game that I have favorited, because that is a system that we do have, is all of the anniversary characters, and I officially own every anniversary unit maxed. Hold on. I did not realize this character had his Transcendence slots removed, but I do officially own every anniversary character at max Transcendence, and we've done that for 9 years, so I'm really hoping going into the 10th anniversary, I do not get shafted and get the 10th anniversary characters, maybe 2 or 3 or 1, who knows how many there will be this year. Let's just assume 2. I'm really hoping I can get both characters max transcended, because at that point we would have done it for an entire decade. Now, to be fair, I didn't always max transcend these characters on release. The 8th anniversary Ichigo took me a while. Likewise with the 7th anniversary, I didn't max transcend them until a year later. But I do like having this as my display, because it does make up 2 lines in particular. And for those that are wondering, we are highlighting the art book remake, which is a remake of 2nd anniversary. But he was kind of like an actual anniversary character that year, because he did take away from the first part of the anniversary. He released a week before Aizen, and the trend ever since the 4th anniversary is that we get 2 characters, and 6 Annie was the only year we technically got 1 character. There are a few characters that aren't here, you know, the other anniversary remakes, and the reason why I don't include them is because they weren't part of the main anniversary, and I've not actually max transcended every single one of them, but we are getting there. If I could quickly highlight some of those real quick, you know, the other anniversary character remakes, I actually have max transcended this one. That's the Quincy Ichigo. The original Quincy Ichigo, I did go ahead and max transcend too. He's been out longer, so that's kind of expected. So I have max transcended the anniversary remakes too. The only 2 I haven't done is, of course, the new Mugetsu. Understandably, so he's still a new character, hasn't been widely available besides the 2 banners he was in. So right now, he's only 1 out of 5. But in due time, I will max transcend him. Hopefully, he's in the 10th anniversary banner or the pre-anniversary banner if they do another one of those, right? But in terms of the 3rd anniversary Okura remake, the renewed one, I only got him 3-5. This one has just been like the bane of my existence. It took me so long to pull him, and getting duplicates of him is almost unheard of. However, I do plan to gather up 10,000 summer tickets for this upcoming 10th anniversary. It's a special occasion, 10 years. I want to do 10k tickets, and likely I will max transcend him with those 10,000 tickets, and maybe even try and get duplicates of the anniversary characters. But scrolling down, at this point, all my characters, thanks to the attribute tree system, are level 293. This time next week, we might officially hit 300. We should, and we are almost done our very first attribute page. I can get some of these characters a tad bit higher, but right now I kind of just work in them all at the same time. But yeah, again, one of the special things about my account, I know many other people do have the same thing for their accounts too, since it's been a while since link slots were first introduced, is that I do own every character at tier 20. Now, the main reason why I did this is that in any gacha game, that you're playing, especially during the downtimes and there's nothing going on, you like to set yourself goals, right? That's what I like to do. Anytime I'm playing a gacha game, no matter what game it is, I want to max out my entire box if possible. It gets me playing the game, and it gives me something to do every time I log in. And one of those things was to get every character, 1 to max level at first, back when that was actually difficult to do, level 150, you know, level 200. I remember back in the day, I had a spreadsheet of all the raid characters I needed to farm up and what was upcoming, because that was outrageously terrible to max out a character when you first got them going through the raid system. Very glad they went ahead and removed that. It was definitely unnecessary in the year 2023 or 2024, but one of the main reasons why I did it was more so just because I liked the red color. It felt like I achieved something when I maxed them out, and it also just looked nice too. Having an entire row of characters having the red colors looked very cool. I hated seeing the green colors, and at this point, I've seen the red levels more than the green levels. Like, I kind of forget characters even look green in the first place, because every character at this point, when I do get them, instantly gets maxed out because I have so many leftover resources. Especially thanks to the achievement system. But yeah, in general, basically every character is maxed here besides just level 1 characters. Duplicates more so. The only duplicate character I do have max transcended is 6th Anniversary Aizen, because I did use 1 for Brave Battles. Now, jokes aside, the next thing to work on, I guess, is T30, because that is going to eventually be a thing. But that's obviously yet to be seen how long that will take. And chances are that's not going to happen in my lifetime, because the grind to T30, whenever we need to see how many items we need, just seems impossible to max out your entire box. It's going to require so many resources, and also limited resources like these secret links or potions. So you are limited on how many characters you can get to T30. At least when we get to that point, we can get to T30. Right now, everyone can only be 21, 21, 21. Like I said, we are about to get the 2nd attribute tree in like a week or 2 time. So we're going to find out then how many more links to levels we can get to. But that's basically every 6-star. These are all my 5-stars that I still need to work on in terms of duplicates. I don't want to sell them right now because I'm not sure what I need to work on. But in terms of resources, again, I'm looking quite good. I did a lot of excess farming. And I guess with my rate of pulling new characters, I'm not really going to get low anytime soon unless I do need to start working on above level 20 link slots. But right now, I'm kind of good for the foreseeable future. In terms of sources, I guess for those that are wondering too, I do have access to a decent amount of special move sources. I do have access to 5 rainbows, which is kind of crazy. 2 mind, 1 speed, 1 power, and also 1 technique. Now, mind you, this is after using, I think I used 2 rainbows and 2 technique and 1 speed on Giselle and also Bambietta. So I did have more, like 2 or 3 months ago. I'm very picky on who I use my special move sources on. More often than not, it's only on a character that I really do like for example, Giselle and also Zombie Bambietta. And usually it's only when I get the character 4 out of 5. I rarely ever use more than 1 special move source on a character, and I will only ever use it on a new character. The only time I've ever done that again, is on Giselle. I only got 1 copy of Giselle in 25 steps, so I ended up using 4, but I was saving those move sources specifically for Giselle. At this point in time too, the only characters I would use a source on is someone that is good but not super omega broken, unless again they're 4 or 5. So use an example, right? Ichigo. I can 5-5 him. I got him 3 times, and I can easily use those last 2 sources. But the thing is, this character is so broken, I do not need to 5-5 him. I honestly do not need to. If I max transcended him, my guild quest score would almost stay the exact same because he absolutely breezes through it. In Limit Breaker, I probably wouldn't even gotten any further. So my new thought process, I guess, is to max transcend characters that aren't super omega OP, but by getting them max transcended, my guild quest score gets significantly higher. So I guess an example of that would be Bambietta, like a 5-5 Bambi and a 1-5 Bambi. Pretty big score difference. Ezno likely would have been one of them had I gotten him 4 times, but I didn't summon on the banner that much. Byakuya probably wouldn't be on that list of characters because he can already get a really high score at 1-5. I have him 2-5. My comfortable stat number right now for me personally is 2-5. Level 10 SP, level 10 focus, all I really need on my characters. Especially as one of my favorites. That's what I like to strive for. Most of the big characters that I do have at least have level 10 SP, level 10 focus. But while we are here, let me quickly sort by max transcendence. And like I did mention, I did max transcend a lot of characters this year. So obviously, as we've already showcased, I have all the anniversary characters max transcended. In terms of the characters that I max transcended last year, surprisingly, I only really max transcended characters post 9th anniversary. I did get Kenny and Grammy to max transcendence, got very lucky on their summons. During my 25 steps on the Rukia, Byakuya, and also Renji banner, I did end up getting 5 copies of Renji. And then this banner, with Giselle and also Zombietta, I did use move sources. And obviously, I got a lot of copies of Soruchi. But I just like to max transcend some of my favorite characters, especially Burn the Witch units, but we haven't gotten too many opportunities to pull for Halloween, Nini, and Noel, and the characters themselves aren't really the greatest, but my main goal whenever a Burn the Witch banner did come out was to try and get them max transcended, and for the most part, I've done that. Besides, again, the new Halloween units. And also Parasol Bruno, unfortunately. Just didn't get lucky in his banner. And that was back before Pity System, too. That was brutal. But in terms of old characters that I do max transcend, I like to max transcend iconic characters, like, for example, the anniversary units. I wanted to max transcend this entire banner with Ichigo, Uryu, and also Chad, since it was the first ever anime banner. And at this point, I kind of want to max transcend some of the older 1000G Bloodwood units and also Khan for You old units. That's what I kind of max transcended today. Like, Baragon got max transcended today. I max transcended Noitora, Nelly L, also Hikone, and even some older 1000G Bloodwood units like Renji, Kenpachi, Yachiru, Yoruichi. And funny enough, my oldest max transcended character is Fullbring Banka Ichigo. That's kind of cool. Iconic character again. We'll talk about him in a minute. But overall, I have 100 characters max transcended, which might not seem like a lot, but I am kind of stingy with the items that I do use. Say if we scroll down, I can do a lot more. You know, I have 95 Essence Scrolls. Kind of waiting to see what the next page of the attribute tree is going to offer before I start to use more. But I had like 40 plus earlier today, but again, I did just use them. All familiars have been obtained, like we did mention, but only one hasn't been maxed out. I kind of dislike that I picked up more familiars than I actually need to, because you actually can't sell any, which is kind of annoying. Like, there's no sorting option. There's no sell option. I think with the upcoming Epic Raid update that we are going to get later this year, they just introduced that. Let me sell some familiars. I do not need all these familiars. I'd like to have 1 copy of each besides Kenpachi and also Toshiro, because having duplicates don't really offer much, unless they are a good link, like, again, Kenpachi and Toshiro. And most importantly, I'd like a max all too, because I think there are some. No, there aren't anyone. Everyone here, if possible, is maxed out again. And if you know familiar maxing, you have to do 1 node at a time, and that takes a lot of time. And for our final section of the video, let's have a look at the album. Now, this is the second time recording this, and it is actually the next day, because originally, I spent, I kid you not, an hour, and a whole hour going over my album, and it was basically a mini history lesson on BBS, just breaking down like every banner and my thought process, how I was feeling, how the community was feeling during that time. Now, I'm sure some of you lads would like to hear about that, and we kind of did that last time during my account showcase, but you know, that's a whole video in and of itself that I will do during the 10th anniversary. So I want to keep this part short, just highlighting all the characters that I do own. Obviously, as someone that has been spending money, but also playing the game for the last 9 or so years, I will have all these old characters. Likewise, with that said, I obviously didn't pull all these characters when I first started the game, but as you play the game for many years, naturally you are going to collect all of some of the older units. And I think one of the things that helped me collect all these old units was the Cons Collector Pass, and also the Resurrectable Packs. So every time a character does resurrect, you can buy them And I usually do that because it does offer a decent amount of orbs. Extra orbs too, because you can resurrect the unit. But I will say, this was the banner here, the Cayenne, Byakuya, and Orihime banner. I rerolled my account during this banner, or around that time. Because I pulled in this banner, it was like our first double rate banner, and got absolutely nothing. So that sucked. That sucked. So my account would have hit 9 days a bit sooner had I not started a new account, because this is my second account I rerolled for Visored Ichigo, because of course I did. He's a cool character. But other than that, just continuing on, I want to highlight some characters, however. Full Hollow Ichigo basically kept me playing the game. It was around this time, albeit I was still logging in consistently, to be fair, but I wasn't like super consistent playing the game actively as much as I did over the last 8 years, right? But Full Hollow Ichigo, me getting him on like the third multi, kept me playing, kept me excited, kept me up to date with the community, going on Reddit, Discord, YouTube, etc. Continuing on, we had Dangai Ichigo. That was obviously a very exciting banner. Then we had the Fullbringers. We had the Zanpakuto filler arc, then the Fullbringers. And one thing I want to say, as we do scroll through all these characters, I think one of the best part about Brave Souls, and to me what makes it the Bleach game, even with these new upcoming games coming out, what makes Brave Souls to me the Bleach game is all the content it has in terms of characters, right? You literally have everything. You have Fullbringers, you have 1000 Year Blood War. We had 1000 Year Blood War before the anime even came out. We have the novels, we have original forms, you have seasonals. You basically have everything you ever would want from just Bleach in general, right? One of the ones that stand out to me, maybe it's not that exciting, is the Fullbringers. Like, right now, to my knowledge, BBS is the only game that has Fullbringers, and no upcoming game is apparently going to have them, right? I mean, look at Rebirth for Souls. Love that game already. I haven't even played it. I'm excited for it, but they aren't going to the Fullbring arc. Maybe in a sequel they will, but that's like years away. Soul Resonance will eventually get the Fullbringers, but that again is a while away. Because I just like Tsukishima. I really like Ginjo as well. This white hair form that he has going for him I think is really cool. And I feel like it is a shame that this character kind of just gets sidelined into a mid-month banner. I feel like he's a character that kind of deserves end-of-month treatment. We had the second anniversary, then we had our first ever 1000 Year Blood War units. At this point in time, it was basically saved until 1000 Year Blood War. The Ichigo, Rukia, and Orenji banner was actually the first time I started a YouTube channel. So I've been making content since these characters came out, for those that are wondering. But it wasn't super consistent. Like, I just maybe talk about new characters, do some Go Quest videos every now and then. It was only until, like, the 4th anniversary, which is around here, when I started to make a lot of videos. Like, I remember when Aaroniero came out, this one, the current pre-world version, I had, like, 4,000 subs. And that was a lot. I got that, like, within, like, a month or two, because that's when I started to do daily uploads. So I've basically been doing daily uploads and covering almost every character here since the 4th anniversary, which at this point, coming up to the 10th anniversary later this year, that'd be 6 years, which is kind of crazy. Then we had the 5th anniversary, and post-5th anniversary was a very bad time and exciting time to play Brave Souls, because we had a lot of limited banners. Like, I remember a lot of people making, like, Reddit posts, YouTube videos about the lack of premiums, and we kind of saw that again near the end of this most recent year, 2024. Albeit, it didn't feel as bad as it did back during this banner. I'm not sure what it is. Maybe it was the step-up format that we have right now and the better orb income. Like, this time, it just felt very rough. It felt very rough. And it makes sense because this was the end of 1000 Year Blood War. We didn't know it at the time, but Ruki and Ichigo was the final 1000 Year Blood War banner until we started to get anime characters. But after that, so we only get to Convert Kugo. So right at the start of, I believe, 2021 is when I'm missing a character. Now, what you are going to notice, the characters I am missing that are old are either novel units or movie characters, because I just didn't pull them. And since this banner here, with Tsukishima and also Ginjo, this was the last Khan for Your Own World banner, so I didn't really get many opportunities to pull for him. But to be fair, we did have a lot of Khanfield filler during Safui banners, Spirits Off with you. And yeah, I just never pulled Kugo, so at this point, like with the movie characters, the only way I'm going to get them is if I buy their character packs when they resurrect, like I did for the original movie characters. So I've yet to pull a movie character with orbs. And to be fair, I'd say it's understandable. When the original movie characters came out, they were always right after 1000 Year Blood War. I'm sorry, I'm not pulling for movie characters when I just dropped all my orbs for 1000 Year Blood War. And even in this case, the 6th anniversary was coming up. I like movie characters, but I feel like they were always treated as a side piece when compared to 1000 Year Blood War. I feel like movie characters would have been a lot more cool had they had a bit more effort put into them. Then we had the 6th anniversary Aizen. Obviously, iconic character, my favorite character release of all time, almost maybe. Going into Safui era, this is when we had nothing but original characters for the most part. Then we had the 7th anniversary. I feel like 7th anniversary has grown on me a lot. especially over the last 2 years with the lack of original anniversary characters, which I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. Like, I do like canon characters, for the record. I also do like original characters. But since this was our last anniversary with original and 1000 Year Blood War, you do kind of get the best of both worlds, I will be honest. Like, maybe during the 6th anniversary, the problem that I had was the second part. I don't think the second part was too exciting. And you have no canon characters here, which is unfortunate. That was a big problem that no one talks about during this era of Brave Souls, where the only good characters were originals. If you were a fan of the Bleach anime and manga, and just wanted your favorite moments in-game as good characters, you didn't get that. You were the only good characters and meta characters were original forms, which isn't a bad thing, but I feel like Ken would go too into something and they don't balance it out to a certain extent. So 6th anniversary was exciting for Aizen, but the second part was a bit of a letdown for me. And that's why I feel like 7th anniversary is actually a really good anniversary in general, in terms of just character choicing. Ignore the banner, ignore what they offered. You got your canon 1000 Year Blood War units, and then you got your original units. So both sides are kind of happy. For those that want original, you got that. For those that want canon, you get that. So I do feel like this should be the standard for anniversaries, in my opinion, despite me being a fan of the 8th and 9th anniversary, because I do like canon characters too. I'm a bit more accepting of the 8th anniversary being full canon, because this was the first time they did it, and it was also the start of 1000 Year Blood War anime characters consistently. But scrolling back down real quick, again, some novel characters that I'm missing, the Safui characters. Assume I'm missing Sergeant, because I did spend like 5,000 orbs on that banner. Gin and Mayuri, I summoned on them, but again, since this was the last novel banner to date, I'm not pulling on their rerun. The characters themselves weren't even that great. So if I didn't get them on release, likely I'm never going to get them until they resurrect. At this point in time, for me, it's just not worth pulling on a novel banner, which is a shame, because as a collector, I do want to have all Beyond Resurrections, Beyond Bankais, for example. So it does suck that I am missing these last 3 units. Like, I'm kind of okay missing Ginjo, but these original units are kind of iconic because they are unique to Brave Souls. So it does suck that I'm missing 3 of them. So, and I think that's the only characters that I missed this year. Every other character I did get, besides Kiryu, to be fair. But Kiryu I'll get later on. Every now and then, I'm sure if you go to your album, there's just one character that you're just missing, despite them being available on multiple banners. Kiryu right now is kind of that. Ikaku I do own, but at 6-star, we're only looking at 5 stars right now. Going into our most recent year, Xiaolong I do own. A few characters from mid-months I am going to miss. That's kind of natural, especially in the later half of the year, which again was very brutal with all the 1000 Year Blood War limited banners that we did get. But like I mentioned, compared to like the end of 2020, it didn't feel that bad. I don't know, it was just me. Like, I wasn't even spending that much. I think I just got really lucky with my summons, maybe. I don't know. But I think the key important characters are the end of month units, right? Because mid-month characters, they come back regularly. They're a bit more common, to say the least. End of month characters are the ones you want to collect. And I did a pretty decent job collecting end of month units this year, or last year, I guess. I only missed out on Sang Doom. My White Will right now, I just cannot get him, and I pull every time he comes back. The swimsuits, I just didn't go, I didn't summon that much on because it's a month before anniversary. I will say though, Bambietta has ruined individual banners for me. I did 10 steps for a banner, didn't get her, never pulling on individuals again. I think they're scams at this point. I'd much rather spend those 2,000 orbs on the main banner. I know the individual has a double rate, but individuals also are, you either get the character or you get nothing. On the main banner, now they're starting to get a bit better filler. Even if I did spend those 2,000 orbs and didn't get Bambietta, I could have gotten Candice. I could have gotten duplicates of Mininya. I could have gotten some good fillers. So individuals are basically dead to me now, and it's all thanks to Bambietta. She's the only character last year that I missed that I actively summoned for. Every character that I'm missing from this like group of characters, I just didn't pull for, right? Likewise with this banner, even though it technically was 1000 Year Blood War, I didn't pull on it. I did 5 steps. Didn't go too deep. Happy to have at least one of them, but I'm not gonna summon all my orbs on a seasonal banner. It's 1000 Year Blood War, but it's still seasonal, right before a big banner like end of year and anniversary, which of course I staked all my orbs for. But yeah, in general, I got really lucky with the most recent banner. If you saw our summons, I got Esnot, Nanana, and also Driscoll in under 12 steps. And right now I have 3,000 orbs, 2 weeks before an end of month. If end of month is an exciting banner, definitely going to summon on it. But yeah, hopefully this section wasn't too long, but in general, I'm only missing a few characters for the most part. Some of the recent characters, which are a bit more understandable, they haven't, you know, a lot of the characters haven't even reran. Some of these characters haven't become fillers just yet, but when they do, eventually I will collect them. Like if we look at my album this time next year, likely every character that I'm missing here, I will own. That's just the natural part of Brazos when you pull on a lot of banners, at least every end of month or every second end of month. But obviously every now and then there is going to be that one character that you just don't get, and right now for me that's Sangdu, which is a shame because I really do need him as a link. But yeah, with that said, that's my 9-year account showcase. Hopefully it wasn't on the longer side. I say it every year, I very much still enjoy playing this game. I still enjoy my time over on Brazos. I'm looking forward to the upcoming 10th anniversary, despite it being like 6 months away. But I guess at the time of recording, this is also the last time I am doing account showcase with just BBS as the only Bleach game, basically. We are scheduled to get Rebirth of Souls this time next month almost. Soul Resonant is scheduled to come out later this year, so it's going to be a fun time to be a Bleach fan, having access to all these different games, all offering something different and unique in their own way too. And as a Bleach game content creator, it's going to be a fun time on the channel having all these different stuff to play and make content on. We even have Soul Puzzle, so there's another game that you can actually play. But to me, BBS is always going to be the Bleach game. It's been here for 9 years. It's going to be here for many more years. And I'll still be here covering the 10th, 11th, 12th, many more. I don't know. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And let me know in the comments below how many days you've logged into. I'm curious to know. See you guys next time. Take care. I'm Base.